Alright, morning everyone, welcome back to Compound Interesting. This is Emil, and in today's video we're going to have a look at NIO, and this is a stock that I really missed the boat on. I was looking at this stock at $2 and I put it on my research list and I never got around to researching it, and now it's $40, just hit $40 today. So insane growth, insane ROI, so congrats to anyone who invested into that company, and I unfortunately never researched it, so I never bought in.
Oh my god, oh my god.
So in today's video, I'm going to give you my opinion on whether this stock is a buy and whether I want to buy this stock right now. I just never bought into the stock. I never researched it because I always felt like, oh, Tesla's better. Tesla's my biggest position. I always just felt that Tesla had a much bigger opportunity than NIO, and NIO was just kind of, the Samsung in comparisons to the iPhone or something like that. So I was never really too interested in it. But now I'm going to try and give you a full research on this stock from an unbiased opinion. As in, I'm not coming into the stock. I didn't come into the stock thinking, okay, this stock is overvalued. I actually came in, researched this company, not with any preconception of whether this stock is overvalued or a good buy. So completely neutral, or I'll try my best to be completely neutral as a Tesla fanboy. So with all that said, let's get cracking straight into the video. Okay, first I want to have a quick look at the numbers, and then we're going to go through the fundamentals of NIO stock. So we're going to have a look at the numbers, and I did a spreadsheet of the projected revenues for the next 10 years in my eyes for NIO, and that should give you a good picture whether or not this stock is fairly valued at this time. Right, so we're looking at a market cap of $50 billion, so that's a very large market cap after its enormous run. So it started off the year, like, you could have picked up this stock for less than $2 and now it's $40. So a high market cap, but is the market cap justified? So we're gonna have a look at the revenue. Okay, so this is something you have to be extremely careful about when you're looking on Yahoo Finance, but I saw some videos who were analyzing this company, did an amazing discounted cash flow analysis on this company, but didn't realize that the currency here is in Chinese yen and not in dollars. So the projections of the price gave them projections of NIO stock being a really good buy right now. However, Chinese yen is 1/7 the value of a dollar, so these numbers all have to be divided by 7. So just keep that in mind, that's really dangerous. So I think a lot of people might have done this mistake because it's really hard to see actually. It's not obvious because on the first page, all the numbers are in dollars, and then once you get into the financials, all the numbers are in Chinese yen, just to be, really helpful like that, make it really clear. So anyway, with a market cap of $50 billion, their sales in 2019 were 7.8 billion Chinese yen, or $1.17 billion. And then sales in 2020 actually dropped to 6 billion Chinese yen, which is $0.9 billion, which gives them a trailing price to sales ratio of 27. So let's have a look at their price to sales ratio over the last few years. So as you can see, their price to sales ratio is really high in comparison to their historical price to sales ratio. And with a growing company, this is my favorite metric for any growing companies. Let's see what the revenue is and let's see what the market cap is. So their usual price to sales ratio is about 3, so definitely a lot higher now, obviously, but just to compare to obviously the big boy Tesla's price to sales ratio right now is 15, and Tesla's price to sales ratio historically was about 5. So yeah, all EV companies kind of have gotten a boost recently. So do I think a 27 price to sales ratio is high? Well, considering NIO's growth is about twice that of Tesla's, if you think Tesla's is fair, maybe then also NIO's price to sales ratio is fair, because NIO recently released numbers where they grew 100% year over year, while Tesla is growing about 50% year over year. So average around 100% year over year in comparison to 50% year over year. On a balance sheet perspective, NIO is absolutely horrible, to be honest. NIO has a pretty awful balance sheet at the moment, kind of like where Tesla was a few years ago. Tesla right now has an amazing balance sheet, loads of cash, not as much long-term debt, so Tesla is in a safe position. However, NIO has still loads of debt, but the stock price ran so much actually because they got access to more debt, so they got another loan, but also because they're growing revenues really fast and they're growing their deliveries extraordinarily fast. So hopefully they'll be able to pay off that debt over time. But take that into account when you're looking at this company, that they do have a lot of debt that they need to pay off. To add to that, they're still not making money. They're expected to actually turn a profit in around 2023. So they're going to be piling up more debt probably for the next couple of years before they can start actually paying off the debt with their profits. So I wouldn't be like extraordinarily worried about it, but it's kind of like where Tesla was a few years ago. But at the same time, does a 100% revenue growth and delivery growth warrant a 20x growth in the stock price? Let's go through a few more things. Let's go through some fundamentals and talk about why NIO is a good company. So NIO cars are also in the luxury EV car market, kind of like Tesla, so they're competing with Tesla. However, they're a little bit cheaper and the specs aren't too bad, to be honest. I'll put up a pic of their specs now, but this is kind of a cherry pick data set, so it doesn't have all the specs. But in most aspects, Tesla specs are better, like acceleration, etc, etc. But it does have that little bit of an extra price point Tesla do. But some cool things that NIO has that Tesla doesn't. It has the voice activation, so it has an AI robot that you can speak to in the car and tell it what to do, like to turn up the radio or whatever. And also they have the battery swap feature, which also Tesla doesn't have, where instead of waiting to charge your battery, you can literally just go into a place and swap your battery. So you can buy a car, you're not buying the car plus the battery, you're just buying the car by itself as like a shell, and then you go and pick up a full battery whenever you need to charge up your battery. Instead of waiting for it to charge, you just go get a new battery each time with a full charge. So that's a cool idea that Tesla doesn't have, but maybe it's not actually long term a great idea. I don't know, to be honest. So NIO is only selling cars in China at the moment, and they're looking into expanding into Europe. Personally, I don't think they'll have the brand recognition that Tesla does in Europe. I think Tesla has the first mover advantage, and most people will go for the Tesla. They'll spend the extra few bob for the Tesla because Teslas are probably better cars and probably worth the extra amount of value over a NIO. But in China, they're doing very, very well, and the Chinese government are definitely going to continue to back NIO and help them in any way they can. And China has committed, the government has committed to trying to get 25% of car sales to be electric vehicle sale, 25% of car sales in China to be electric vehicles by 2025. So in 5 years, 25% of the vehicles sold in China will be electric. That's what the government's going for, and it's currently about 5%. So that's a 5x in 5 years of electric vehicle sales, and NIO's going to take a large proportion of that for sure. So NIO's market cap, these are really rough, but NIO's market cap is 1/10 the market cap of Tesla's, and it has 1/10 the number of sales, annual sales. So looking at it from that perspective, you're kind of thinking, okay, NIO's kind of a fair value here. It's growing twice as fast, so that should give it a higher market cap to revenue, price to sales ratio. But at the same time, it doesn't have the kind of total addressable market that Tesla does because it only sells cars. Tesla also has all the other features, all the other revenue sources that Tesla has, like robotaxi, energy, battery storage, solar roof, etc, etc. So let's have a quick look at these numbers that I drafted up. These are completely pulled out my arse, so don't hold me to them or anything. But the first three that are green here, the first three, 2018, 2019 and 2020, they're all the correct numbers of revenue in billions. So 0.72 billion in 2018, 1.13 billion in 2019, and 2.26 billion expected for this year. And for 2021, there's expected 80% revenue growth up to $4.06 billion. So these are all numbers pulled out of Yahoo Finance, and then all the rest of the numbers I basically made up. So in 2022, I'm giving them another 70% growth. Then 2023, another 60% growth. And then for the remaining years, 50%, 50%, which is really, really, really fast growth. So I think it's quite generous. And then we're tailing off a bit to 40% growth, 25 but in 10 years, like 25% growth in 10 years. That's probably a little unrealistic, but sure, we'll give it to them anyway. And finishing out with a revenue of $100 billion. In my eyes, this is kind of best case scenario where they're getting to $100 billion in 10 years and you're paying $50 billion for the company right now. So for me, I'm definitely, like, even though I missed the stock so many times, I didn't buy it this time because I didn't research it. I didn't buy it this time because I thought it was overvalued. I didn't buy it this price because it was overvalued. And I missed out on all these, like, so many times I could have made a fortune in NIO. Even still, I'm going to be extraordinarily, I'm not going to be buying at these prices personally. And let me run you through a couple of more reasons why I wouldn't want to FOMO in at these prices. So let's have a look at Toyota's market cap. So Toyota's whole market cap is $200 billion, and they sell the most cars in the entire world. Toyota do, and their market cap is $200 billion, and NIO's market cap is $50 billion, so a quarter of Toyota's. So NIO only sell cars. They don't have any other revenue sources, so no other opportunities like Tesla do in their back pocket. In my eyes, I kind of putting a cap on their market cap of like $200 billion, and that's if they become if they sell the most cars in the entire world, which Toyota do now, which gives them a value of 200 billion. So that would only be a 4x, which would be amazing, but that's their cap in my head. And a cap of only a 4x in I don't know how many years. I think there's much better opportunities personally right now. At $50 billion, that's an enormous market cap. So I see a lot of people saying that NIO is still going to 10x from here. And yeah, they could, but personally I don't think it's very likely. I think they could definitely outperform the market, but a 10x is unlikely. But if it did happen, it would take a long time. I don't think it's going to continue shooting up forever. So for me personally, I'd actually consider buying in if it drops, which I think it will drop soon. I could be totally wrong, but if it does drop to the low 20s, I'll look at it again, because then maybe it could 10x over like 5 to 10 years. But I don't think it's going to 10x anytime soon like it already has. Like it's eventually going to hit a top in the same way that Tesla hit a top and then came back down a bit. That's what I think anyway. Personally, I'm just going to continue buying into Tesla, because I think Tesla, even though it has a market cap 10 times that of NIO's, I think it has a much more likely possibility to 10x over the next decade or so. So that's why all my money's still in Tesla. But I'll keep an eye on NIO, and maybe if it drops, then I'll consider adding a small position into it. But if you're interested in buying this stock, I wouldn't tell you not to. Like, this company's going to do well in the future. Like, they have the Chinese government backing them. They're selling an enormous amount of cars, and they're growing really, really fast. But you always have to kind of be careful with the Chinese numbers. Maybe there's the kind of, if you saw Luckin Coffee, there was a lot of fraud there, but I'm not going to say that NIO is doing fraud, but just be aware that there's a little bit of added risk when you're looking into Chinese companies. But if you wanted to buy into this company, I wouldn't load in, I wouldn't FOMO in right now. I'd maybe start dollar cost averaging, just buy a little bit now, and if it drops, you can buy more and buy more. And if it continues going up, just buy more as it goes up. Like, I'd be careful buying right now when there's max euphoria. Like, everyone on YouTube is going mad for this company and going mad for this stock. So if I were you, I would be careful buying into the stock. And for me, I do like the company. I definitely like the company, but for me, I have loads of stocks and I'm not really capable of taking on another stock right now. So unless it becomes a screaming buy, I'm not going to buy it. That's just my personal preference. But let me know what you think of NIO. Is it a buy? Did you make sick gains on it? Because if you did, well done. That's fantastic. I'm so happy for you. But yeah, just a little bit euphoric for me right now. I wouldn't sell. If I had the stocks now, I probably wouldn't sell. I'd hold on to them for the long term. But for me, I'm not going to buy in at these FOMO in prices when everyone's euphoric. I'll wait for a correction, or I'll just leave it and be one of the stocks that I missed, because you're not going to catch them all. So I really, really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I hugely appreciate if you could smash the thumbs up button. If you haven't been on here already, make sure to subscribe, hit the notifications, because on the small channel you won't get notified. It won't come up in your feed unless you hit that notification bell. So thank you so much for watching. I really, really hope you learned. I hope you saw another perspective on YouTube rather than everyone just saying this stock's going to the moon. Just hopefully hit you with a bit of realism, and then you'll come back in 1 year and I've been totally wrong and the stock just mooned. So sorry in advance if that happens. But anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.